Hi guys, it's Steve from Vintage Classic 71. This week I want to show you some, well, just two pickups I made yesterday. I went to flea market. My wife went to the beach with some friends, some girlfriends from work. So I went headed to my flea market that I go to sometimes, where there's usually some pretty good baseball card dealers there. Guys that sell baseball cards. There's one particular guy I buy vintage from. Unfortunately, he wasn't there, so I managed just to pick up two vintage cards. There was a lot of newer product, but not a lot of vintage. Or the vintage that was there, I already had. So I'll show you those, and then I'm going to show you some 1973 Topps Hall of Famers and some 74 Topps Hall of Famers in baseball. Okay, let's get started with first was a 1947 Bond Bread card that I managed to get pretty cheap. I think I got this for $5. It's a Ralph Kiner. He wanted 10, as you can see originally on the back, but I ended up getting it for 4. Got to put this in my own top load holder. I haven't had a chance to do that yet. I don't like leaving them in these card saver ones. They go either graded or they're in top loaders. I think I have about 15,000 cards just in top loaders. Then I have the graded ones, and I have albums full of cards too. But I have a little system I do. But I don't use card savers too often. I do have some. I'm not gonna say I don't, because I do. But I tend to go with the top loaders for the most part. Next is a 1969 Topps Decal. Willie Mays, card number 33 of 33. I'm trying to build this set. I think I need 6 more cards. This one originally, he had it priced for 20. I got this for 17. Nice looking card. It's a nice looking set. Like I said, there's only 33 cards in the set. But I just like the decal design. It's an affordable set if you guys want to build something that has some Hall of Famers in it. It's not extremely something you see everywhere. They're a little bit more rare, though you do see them. Most card shows you go, some people always have these, so I wouldn't say they're really rare. That was probably not a good choice of words, but it's a nice set to collect, and it's something I enjoy doing. They also have the hockey ones. I have a few hockey ones as well, but I'm mainly building the baseball one right now. So those are the two cards I picked up when I was there. I was only there for about maybe half an hour at the most. So let's put those over there. All right, now we'll get started with some 73 Hall of Fame ball players. First up is going to be 1973 Topps Ted Simmons, the great Cardinals catcher. That's one. Then you got the 1973 Roberto Clemente. It's actually Roberto Clemente's last card. As you guys know, he died on that humanitarian trip to Nicaragua. So this is his last card depicted hitting. I also have it graded. It's off-centered in the back. My graded one, I think, is a 6. But this is it's a nice, very nice card. It's one of my favorites too. Next is a 73 Brooks Robinson. In my opinion, the best third baseman. Definitely fielding, but all around, I'd take Brooks Robinson. A lot of people will say Mike Schmidt, but for me, it'd be Brooks Robinson. Next is my opinion, the all-time home run hitter, Hammerin' Hank Aaron. I love this card since I was a kid. I don't know what it is. I remember getting this out of a pack in 1973. They were 10 cents a pack. For $1, you could buy 10 packs. But I always loved this card. I don't know why. Maybe it's the image of him playing first base, getting ready to catch a fly ball, or a pop-up rather. So that's Hank Aaron. Next up is Tony Oliva from the Minnesota Twins. A lot of times people forget about him, having played with Rod Carew, Harmon Killebrew, Burt Blyleven, some of the Hall of Famers on that team. But Tony Oliva was a great Hall of Famer. Next is Rollie Fingers with the famous mustache. See if I can get close enough to see his mustache right there. From the Oakland Athletics in the white uniform. They had several combinations. They wore a yellow shirt, a green shirt, a white shirt, and they had a white hat. So different combinations during the 70s, during their heyday, especially during the between like 1970 and 75. They were a very dominant team. Next is the local legend here, Hall of Famer Carlton Fisk. Great catcher too. I know I told you in previous videos, Johnny Bench I think is the all-time best, but Carlton Fisk is right up there. Great catcher. All right, next you got the all-time RBI leader, 1973. It's Babe Ruth. At the time, 2,209 RBIs. Okay. Then you get the all-time shutout leaders, Walter Johnson. Another great Hall of Famer. These guys, like I've told you before, in my opinion, in past videos, there's Hall of Famers and then there's Hall of Famers. These last two guys, Ruth, Walter Johnson, those guys, Ty Cobb. When you get to be Lou Gehrig, when you get to be at that level, they're the Hall of Famers of the Hall of Famers, in my opinion. Those guys are the elite players in the Hall of Fame. I mean, everybody in the Hall of Fame is a great player. Some people say Harold Baines doesn't belong in there. Maybe good argument could be made for that, but you don't get into the Hall of Fame without having great numbers over your career. So, but there is an upper echelon of Hall of Famers, in my opinion. All right, next is the knuckleballer, Phil Niekro. As you can see on this card here, it appears like the hat has been. They were notorious for airbrushing tops for a long time in the 70s. Phil was on the Braves, so I don't know why it'd be airbrushed, but it has that look, but maybe it isn't. So, but that's the great Phil Niekro. Next is Jim Kaat. Great Hall of Fame pitcher, great fielding pitcher. Won several Gold Gloves. It's unusual to see a pitcher depicted on a baseball card hitting, so that's something different. Next up is Orlando Cepeda. I think Orlando was when I say the Red Sox, my team I follow, was our first DH in 73 when Ron Blomberg, as everybody knows, was the first with the Yankees. So, but I think Cepeda was the first for the Red Sox. Next is Gaylord Perry, another one of my favorite cards. Just the action shot of Gaylord. Looks like it appears to be warming up because you can see that the second baseman there, maybe that was probably the shortstop, is just standing there. So I don't think he's in the process of actually pitching. I think he's just warming up. But it's a great looking card of Gaylord. All right, next up from the Cincinnati Reds, you got all-time great second baseman Joe Morgan. Joe used to do that thing with his arm when he pumped his arm as a timing mechanism. If you go back and you look at some of the old Reds videos and you watch Joe Morgan hit, you'll see him pumping that arm when he's at the plate. But great second baseman. Next is Eddie Matthews. Here he is depicted as the manager for the Braves, Atlanta Braves. He in himself was a great ball player. As I've told you before, along with Hank Aaron, they provided a hell of a 1-2 punch for the Braves, the Milwaukee Braves, and then later on the Atlanta Braves. So, all right, next is Tony Perez from the Cincinnati Reds. Part of the Big Red Machine. The dreaded Big Red Machine, the one that sunk my Red Sox in '75. I still have an argument with one of my good friends, Dan. He's a diehard Reds fan. That had it not been for Ed Armbruster interfering with Carlton Fisk and that rainstorm that we had to wait like 3 days for the rain to clear to play a game, and if we had Jim Rice, I know that's a lot of ifs. I really think that we would have won that World Series. But the Reds were a great team. Got to give them their due. It just makes for a good argument. And like I said, he's a diehard Reds fan, so he gives me a hard time all the time. All right, next up from the St. Louis Cardinals, Lou Brock. I like Lou Brock a lot. All right, then from the Chicago Cubs, Billy Williams. Some people don't like the 73 set. It's one of my favorites. I like the 73 a lot. In fact, in the 70s, my favorite are 72, 73, and 75 are the ones I like the most. But here's a 1973 Carl Yastrzemski. All right. Next, you got the great Tiger, Hall of Famer Al Kaline. You can tell that was shot down in Lakeland. The palm trees in the background and everything. And then you have his final card, 1973 Topps Willie Mays. Unfortunately, by the time he was with the Mets, he had diminished a lot. He wasn't even remotely the player, as understandably because he was older, but his skills had gone down a lot. But in his day, I know I tell you almost every baseball video I do, I think he was the greatest all-around player of all time. That's a 73 Willie Mays. All right, next is a 73 Rod Carew. Then you got a 73 Tom Seaver. Tom, terrific. Then you got his 1973 Johnny Bench. About to make a catch on a pop-up over by the dugout. Then you got a 1973 all-time total base leader, Henry Aaron, with 6,172. Then you got, now we're starting. This one's mixed in. Sorry about that. He goes in the 74 pile. Another 1973, Mike Schmidt. That's his rookie card. Schmidt's over here in the, close it. You can't see it too well. Great Hall of Famer. A lot of people will say he's the greatest third baseman. It's a good argument. Like I told you earlier in this video, I would choose Brooks Robinson, but there definitely is an argument to have say Mike Schmidt is that person the greatest of all time. Next is Ryan's Express, Nolan Ryan from the California Angels. All right, a few more 73s here. You got Jim Catfish Hunter. Love that card too. Remember I told you earlier when the A's had several different uniform tops. That's the yellow version, whereas Raleigh Fingers was wearing a white shirt. I would say they more predominantly wore the yellow and the green. But that's Jim Catfish Hunter. Next is the leaders card, 1972 strikeout leaders. You got Steve Carlton from the National League and Nolan Ryan from the American League. Both of them with over 300 strikeouts. Good luck trying to see that today. Two all-time great pitchers right there. And you got Mr. Underwear from the Baltimore Orioles, Jim Palmer. You should do the underwear commercial. That's why I said that. In case you're wondering. I don't want you to think I'm being weird or something. But Jim Palmer was a great pitcher in himself. I believe he still does the Oriole games. Oops, I'm like the pile over. I believe he still does the Oriole games on TV, the color portion. I could be wrong. I was stationed at the Pentagon years ago, and I worked for the Department of Defense there. And I used to watch the Oriole games on TV, and we used to get tickets all the time to at that time Memorial Stadium. And later on, I think I went to the second game ever at Camden Yards. So, but Jim Palmer was a great one there. All right, next is Louis Aparicio. Great shortstop, fast, had a great glove. Didn't have a lot of power, but he came up with some clutch hits. Next is a 73 Harmon Killebrew. I love the action shots in this set. And there's quite a few of them. Then you got Hall of Famer from the Cubs, Fergie Jenkins. All right, from the St. Louis Cardinals, you got Hall of Famer Bob Gibson. The last one I'm going to show you from 73 is the Hall of Famer Burt Blyleven, the Minnesota Twins. All right, let's get a few 74s in here. All right, first up, 1974, you got Al Kaline. Then you got a 74 Tom Seaver. Nice action picture of him pitching. Then you got another great action shot of Raleigh Fingers. And then Juan Marichal with the famous leg kick. And you got Tony Perez, Cincinnati Reds. If you watch ESPN, Eduardo Perez, this is his father, Tony Perez. I'm sure you guys all knew that, but figured I'd throw it out there, make myself sound smart. But Another great baseball player there. Willie Stargell, Pops, for the Pittsburgh Pirates. Then you get Carlton Fisk and a great action shot at the plate. Jim Catfish Hunter. There's the white jersey again. I'm going to have you guys now in the habit of looking for jerseys when you look at the old Oakland A's cards. Next up is Joe Morgan, Cincinnati Reds. Here's Orlando Cepeda. This card actually depicts a designated hitter for his position with the Red Sox. And you got the great Johnny Bench, Cincinnati Reds catcher. Like I said, these guys are all Hall of Famers, if I forget to say it. Next is Nolan Ryan. 74 is loaded with action shots. And good ones. I mean, they're not these... You know, sometimes you get some sets where the action shots aren't that great. These are nice, I think, the way they're shot and everything, and the angles and the action it depicts. Next is Gaylord Perry, Cleveland Indians. And yes, it feels good to say Cleveland Indians. I know I'm being not politically correct. It should be Guardians, but they'll always be the Indians to me. Next is Lou Brock. And then you got an all-star card, the catcher position. You got Johnny Bench and Carlton Fisk. There's my two greatest catchers of all time right there. With a close Yogi Berra, a close third. Here's the 74 Reggie Jackson, Mr. October. Then you got a 74 Brooks Robinson. And the last one is a 74 Louis Aparicio. All right, those are the cards I had to show for you today. Like I said, I only had a couple pickups recently. Waiting on a few cards coming in, graded cards. I'll show you those when they come in. I wanted to ask, bring up also, if you guys have never played, I hadn't played this game in years. It was packed away in one of the boxes I have, but APBA Baseball. If you've never played it and you get a chance to pick up a copy of the game and everything, it's a great game if you're into baseball and statistics and just the play of you can manage the whole season, you can do the whole league, you can do whatever you want to do. But every team is in there, every player has his own individual card. It's just like Stratomatic, which I do have also. But APBA Baseball to me is it's a lot of fun. I just started playing I had the 1941 season. I had the 1972 season. I'm going to do the Red Sox in 72, and I'm already doing the 41 Red Sox with Ted Williams. A lot of fun, though. It's a great game. It's something good to do, like especially in the wintertime when there is no baseball. For those of you that are like me, I go into baseball withdrawals in the wintertime. So it's a way of getting the baseball feeling, still keeping it going and stuff during the off season. Hope your teams all did well in the draft yesterday. That you guys all got good ball players. Really happy with the Red Sox selection from Texas A&M. Braden Montgomery, the outfielder. I guess from what I've heard, I only saw him play once. Were it not for his broken ankle that he has, he's currently in a boot, one of those air things that they put on your foot. Were it not for that, they say he would have been in the top 5 picks. So we got him at number 12. So hopefully he'll be part of our makeup of our outfield. I could see him with Jared Duran in center, and we have Roman Anthony down in the minors that's tearing it up too. Great ball player. We could have a great outfield one day with all three of them guys. Our athletes can run, throw, so that would be a lot of fun to watch. That way we could keep Ceddanne Rafaela at short, who, if you guys haven't picked up any of his cards, I know this is a vintage channel, but if you get a chance, I don't know if I have one up here. I had a Ceddanne Rafaela card here somewhere. Probably put it away, but that is a good card to pick up. Great chance to be the American League Rookie of the Year. He's right in there with the rest of the guys that are having good years. But Ceddanne Rafaela is a really good card to pick up, in my opinion. So, All right. Well, I want to thank you for watching. Again, great responses I'm getting, membership subscriptions. And a lot of that is, I know I say it a lot of times, but I got to thank John Mangini and his crew of guys that have been really great to me. I've never met them. I don't have any association with them, other than I enjoy watching their videos a lot. I watch everything John Mangini puts out, so I guess you could say I'm a disciple of him. But I kind of enjoy guys that have, and he definitely has a vintage collection. He's got a beautiful collection. But Big Scott 35 is another one I watch. There's a lot of these guys that are out there that I just want to say thank you for your support. And you guys are great role models to follow. I try to model everybody uses their own style. I have my own style, and they have their own. But I try to put out a good product. I usually do them on Mondays. Put out one every week for the most part. Occasionally I put out 2 in a week, but usually 1 a week. But try to put out a good product. Make a good presentation. The last 2 videos I shot, the lighting and the color were off. I used my laptop instead of my phone that I'm using right now. So I'm gone back to using the cell phone. But I apologize for that. But again, thank you so much for the support and for watching my video. Thank you. Have a great rest of your week. May God bless you and your family. And until I see you next week, take care.